All right, for this one now, we are drawing a weighted graph from a table. So we have a table with all the information. We're now going to draw it. So we have vertices, which are the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So what we're going to do is we've also got the edges, which is where the numbers are. So what will be the vertices? We're going to say, well, they are A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What will be the values of the weighted edges? Well, we could go through and list them all. I'm not going to bother right now, but AB would be 32. So AB equals 32. AC equals 15. AD equals 20. And so on. You'd have, well, AB we've already done. So you can also go through and go like, I only need to do these ones, because all of these are just copies of those ones. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 edges in total. Okay, so I've written 3 of them. I'm not going to bother writing the others. You guys could be able to do that. Draw a weighted graph to represent the information in the table. All right, well, let's start. Let's go down here and go A. So A, we can see that it has a degree of 3. It has 3 connections coming off it. So it's going up to B. Oh, that's a B. So I'll draw an edge. I won't draw an edge in red. I'll do it in another one. It's also going to C, and it's also going to D. And I'll draw the edges just in blue. And then I'll put the weighting. So I've got AB is 32, AC is 15, AD is 20. All right. Next one I've got is I have a connection from B to C. B to C is 30, so I'll actually go back to my blue and go, okay, BC is 30. So that, I've done AB, I've done AC, I've done AD, I've now done BC. I have a connection from C to D of 10. Okay, so that one's done. All right, what's next? So I've got no more connections from A, that's great, but I have a connection from B to F. So let's give myself an F. Let's put it out here. F has no other connections, from what I can tell. No, it's only got that one. And B has no other connections. So we'll just call that F. And we'll put the graph from there to there. And its weighting from B to F is 18. So that's done. All right, what's next? We have C to E. Ooh, I don't have an E yet. And then we have a C to G as well. We also have a D to E. So both C and D are connecting to E. So let's put E here. Call it E. And that way I can have my connection from C to E, which is there, which is 53. And I can also have my one from D to E is 42. So I'm going through, I'm crossing them out as I go. All right, that's done. And then my next one, I have G is my last vertex I've got to do, because I've got A, B, C, D, E, F. So I've got one more vertex to do. I've got G, and the connections I've got to G, I've got a connection from C, I've got one from E, and I've got one from F. So C, E, and F all have to connect to G. So that's a good spot for it there. Have a look. So we've got one coming from C, which is 24. Then we have one coming from E, which is 45. And then we have one coming from F, which is 47. And that's it. We're done. We have put all the edges in. We've put all the weightings in. Now, I've crossed them off as I've gone, just to make sure. Now, these ones down here, you can see that they are just the same, but instead of going, oh, I'm going from F to G, this one goes, I'm going from G to F. So it's the same thing. All right, now we have to work out. Question D, what is the total of the weighted path from A to E via B, C, and G? So what you're going to do is go, okay, well, I'm going from A and I need to get to G, but it's actually making me go through B, C, and, oh, sorry, I want to go from A to E. I've got to go through B, C, and G. So let's have a look. I'm going to go from A to B. So I'm going to change colours just so I can draw it. I'm going to go from A to B, and then B to C, and then C to G, and then G to E. Okay? So that's where I'm going. So I've got A to B, and then B to C, and then C to G, and then G to E. And now I'll write down the weightings between them. So I've got 32 plus 30 plus C to G is 24 plus G to E is 45. So add them all up and I'm going to get 131. So that's my weighting for that path using that particular path.